Hey, mama. So today I'm sharing 5 rules I live by as a mom and entrepreneur. These rules have been pivotal in helping me grow as a business owner, see the success that I see, and stay consistent and committed to my business. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Hey, mama. Welcome to Marketing Without Socials for Moms, the go-to podcast for moms in business who want to stop relying on social media to build their business and build it in a way that fits their current season of life. I'm your host, Andria, a wife, mama of 2, and visibility strategist for moms. Each week, I'm giving you the inside scoop on how to increase your visibility, leads, and sales through podcasting, email marketing, and collaborations. Ready to truly make social media optional in your business? Grab your chai tea latte and let's dive into today's episode. Let's get into the 5 rules I live by as a mom and entrepreneur. So, rule number 1, don't be afraid to take up space as a mom and business owner. One thing I want to say here is that I am not unprofessional just because my kids can be heard in the background. There are people who are going to try to tell you to hide the fact that you're a mom and business owner, but I say embrace it. And to help you embrace it, some of the things that you can do is find clients that align with your values. And it doesn't even have to be, that you serve other moms. There are many business owners who are family oriented and are supportive of mom business owners. So this is why before you even sign a client, you need to have, that conversation just to make sure they don't have any red flags and that they will be okay with, sometimes your kids making appearances on a call and different things like that. The other thing to kind of help with this too is talk about your kids in your content or talk about being a mom in your content. Now, this doesn't have to take over your content, so to speak, but just reminding people that you are a mom first. And that's going to make sure you're attracting those people who share those similar values as you, who aren't going to be surprised when your, toddler pops her head on Zoom and says hi, And so that is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is I don't compare myself to others, especially other moms in business. Look, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison causes you to take your eyes off what you're doing, get sidetracked, and stop following your God-given calling. Comparison slows you down and keeps you from hitting your goals. Keep your eyes on your own lane and embrace where you're currently at. Also, if you're comparing yourself to someone who is steps further ahead of you, that is not fair to you. That's not fair to you in any type of way. So don't compare. Celebrate where you are and how far you've come. It's so easy to get distracted as a business owner. There's so much thrown at us online, especially on social media. And so it's so easy to start questioning whether you're doing the right thing, whether you are following the right path, whether you're making the right decisions in your business and whatnot. It's so easy to feel like you're not doing enough because Sally over there, who has a full team, has a nanny, all of the things, is hitting multiple 6 figures in her business, but you're not there yet. Well, you don't have the level of support that Sally has. You're a solopreneur. You have your kids home. You're homeschooling, doing all of these other things. So yeah, you're not where Sally is at. But also, Sally has been in the game for 9 years. You're only coming up on 3 years. Don't compare yourself. And I'm speaking to myself right here too. Okay, rule number 3. I only work with other coaches who are moms. Baby, the way people get so up in their feelings about this is so wild to me. Be all the way for real right now. There is no shade to coaches who aren't moms, but the reality is that if you haven't ran a business with an infant on your hip or an infant latched onto your boob and a toddler run around your house like Donnie Thornberry, then you don't get it, and that's okay. It doesn't say anything about that person as a coach. It's just that you aren't the best coach for me in this season of life. Like my kids, thankfully, my youngest is weaned from nursing, but I've had this business since my son was 2 and I was pregnant with my daughter. And it's just a different ball game. It's different when you're running a business as a mom, especially when your kids are infants and toddlers. It's just different. Like I have my daughter home with me full time. And, I'm leading my weekly group calls for my accelerator program. And she's right there, she be tearing up the house, she really be acting like Donnie Thornberry. Like the way she just destroys the house it's not even funny. It's like, girl, why? Why are we doing this right now? Does that even make sense? Is that even necessary? But anyways, it's just different. It's different. And so the strategies that someone who isn't a mom may suggest to me most likely aren't going to be strategies that are realistic for me in this season of life. And even just the mindset piece as a mom and a business owner. There's so many layers to it. You're navigating mom guilt. You're navigating feeling like you aren't doing enough in your business. Like you're navigating so many things. It's just different. And so that's why for me personally, I only work with coaches, and I'm talking like about business coaches. I only work with those who are moms. Now, when it comes to hiring a service provider to actually do something for me in my business, I can care less whether or not they're a mom. Now, does it just so happen that the majority of the service providers I've hired are moms? Yeah, it just so happens to be that way. But I don't require it for that because that's you doing something for me. You're not giving me strategies. You're not coaching me on different things like that. But anyways, let me get off my soapbox when it comes to that. Okay, rule number 4. I say no to anything that does not serve me, is unrealistic for my capacity, or stresses me out at the thought of doing it. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, but this business is not about to stress me out. The reality is that I don't need to do and be everything. I just need to do what God has called me to do and run this business the way He is leading me to do so. I don't need to do more. I have nothing to prove. And so this one I feel like is really important, especially if you are a high achiever, recovering perfectionist. It is hard for us to say no. It is hard for us to not do more. And so this is something that it takes time, and it's something that you're consistently working on. Even to this day, it's something I still work on, but I have some things in place where I pause and I'm like, okay, is that something I really need to be doing right now? Is that something I actually have the capacity to do? Is that something I actually want to do? Is that something that's going to serve me right now with the goals I'm trying to achieve and everything? So that one is really important. And then the last rule is consume way less content. Doom scrolling can be a distraction and stir up discontentment or imposter syndrome. And this actually relates back to rule number 2. The reality is that constantly consuming other people's content can stir up trouble. You can start questioning whether or not you're doing things right, or if you need to start marketing in a different way, if you need to create a different type of offer, if you need to tweak your current offer. And you can also lose your voice without realizing it. And this looks like you watering down your content based on what other people are doing, or you holding back and filtering yourself and not sharing the things that are placed on your heart to share. And when you do that, that's going to deter the people who you're actually called to serve. Like you're not going to attract those right fit people. And so one of the ways I've started to really implement this in my own life and business was one, I have removed Instagram and Threads from my phone home screen. So like I will get the alert saying like there's a new notification, but the apps aren't on my home screen. And so I'm not tempted to check it. I only check it on my laptop. So if I see a message comes through, I will get on my laptop and then respond to the message and everything. But this has really helped me in cutting down the scrolling. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't scrolling on Instagram like that. Like, I don't know, Instagram has become kind of like a dead zone to me. But I did have a really bad habit of it when it came to Threads, just because I really enjoy the platform. Conversations just happen so easily on the platform, and I've made so many amazing connections on the platform. But I realized that I was consuming way too much, and it was even impacting like how I was showing up on Threads, like the type of content I was posting, like I was overthinking it and stuff. And so I stopped doing that. Like even for my Threads content, I will type my content out in a Google Doc. Then I will go on Threads on my laptop, copy and paste, schedule the post. And that has been such a game changer for me. Now, yes, it means that I'm not engaging as much. I will set aside like 30 minutes to an hour to kind of go through and engage for a little bit. But I'm okay with that. Like I don't want to be spending so much time on socials. And so I'm finding little creative ways to kind of help me with that. And then the other side of this too is like, even when it comes to listening to other people's podcasts, I have really cut down the amount of business podcasts I listen to. Like I have like a couple in my rotation that I consistently listen to. So like one is, of course, Kay Hillman, Moms Do Business Different, as well as her private podcast, Unfiltered. But I've actually been listening to more like personal development and some like mom related podcasts and stuff. There's one that I really love. Her name is Amber Paloma. I think her podcast is called The Lighthouse Within. And it has nothing to do with business, but I absolutely love her podcast. Like I love her calming voice and she shares so many great stories on her podcast and stuff. But I've been like really shifting the type of podcast content I'm listening to just to kind of, again, get out of this habit of consuming so much to the point that it's impacting how I'm showing up in my business. It's impacting how I'm creating content. And honestly, that has been one of the best decisions ever when it comes to like my business and stuff like that. Like I feel like I have so much more clarity and not so many like voices in my head saying, oh, you need to do it this way. You need to do it that way. You need to do it this way. You need to do that. You need to do this. I've been able to kind of silence those and only just tune into, those trusted voices. So yeah, I kind of went on a tangent there, but it is what it is. So those are my 5 rules to live by as a mom and entrepreneur. If you love this episode and you love these types of like real and raw conversations, come join my email community, Marketing Without Socials. Although we do talk about marketing without social media, I do share a lot of behind the scenes of how I am running a business as a mom and, just having these real raw conversations and whatnot. So head on over to mompreneur.com/marketing without socials, or click the link below in the episode description or in the show notes. All right, mama, I'll catch you in the next episode. Hey, mama. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. I would love to keep the conversation going. So head to mompreneur.com/marketing without socials to join my email community. I share even more tips and strategies for building a business that doesn't rely on social media and one that fits your current season of life. as well as more behind the scenes of mom and business life. All right, Mama, that's it for today, but I'll catch up with you again next week.